Hi and welcome to pmplounge.com. This is a mini series on group creativity techniques. One of the techniques that we are covering today is called mind maps. So that's what we are covering today. And if you already know, if you have already gone over the next slide on how mind maps fits into the scheme of the things, feel free to skip it and go directly to the slide on mind maps. All right, so like I said, if you already know where mind maps fit into the scheme of things, you can skip this slide and move on. For those of you who are looking at this video for the first time, looking at any of the group creativity techniques video for the first time, you are going to find this helpful. So the knowledge area that we are talking about is scope management. And under scope management, the process that we are discussing is collect requirements. By the way, the entire playlist of scope management will be available in the description below. You can find all these topics there. You can find all the processes there. And of course, you can also find the collect requirements process. Now, under collect requirements is where group creativity techniques comes in. This is one of the tools and techniques used in collect requirements process. And under group creativity techniques, one of the techniques is mind maps. By the way, there are many other group tools and techniques used in collect requirements, and here's a look at all of them: interviews, focus groups, facilitated workshops, group decision making techniques. So we have actually covered all of these separately, and the link will always be in the description below. You can go over and kind of um, go over what interviews, focus groups, facilitated workshops, and the different kind of group decision making techniques are. Today we are looking into group creativity techniques. One of them is known as mind maps. Again, all of these are basically tools and techniques of the collect requirements process. With that being clear, let's get into the next slide and understand the definition of mind maps. So, like I said earlier, mind maps are also known as idea maps, and they basically help in visualizing how different ideas relate to each other. Now, this is a part of group creativity techniques. You need to sit together as a group, right, and come up with your whatever creativity that you can come up with in order to collect the requirements for the process for the project, right? Remember, this is a tools and technique for collect requirements process. So as a group, you need to sit together. You need to let your the creative juices flowing, and you need to come up with ideas. So when you're coming up with these ideas, idea map or a mind map will help you in visualizing how these different ideas relate to each other. Now, once a creativity discussion is done, right, you will realize that it can often lead to several ideas which are related to each other, and they can be grouped together. So when you group certain ideas together, you will have better requirements, and you can look at the requirements as part of a group and try to understand if that particular group can make it to the final cut in the final requirements of the project. So that is how in the idea map or a mind map is typically used. Now let's look into an example of a mind map or an idea map, and that is going to help you explore this tool and technique in a better fashion. So this is an example of a mind map for fashion, and let me quickly highlight it what we are discussing. So fashion, this is the mind map for fashion. If you see what all things come under fashion, you're drawing this mind map, right? You've got clothes and you've got accessories. Now, when you're talking about accessories, what all can come in as part of fashion accessories? You've got ring, you've got bracelet, you've got bangle, necklace. Earrings, scarf, tie, belt, all of these fall under the accessories of when you're talking about fashion. So this is the mind map of fashion, right? You're talking about fashion. Somebody can come up with certain ideas for fashion. You're talking about, let's say, a project wherein you're coming up with a new venture, and and that venture, that company is going to be dealing in fashion. So what all should that company, what all should be the products of that company? And you're doing a mind map, and you'd realize that people are throwing all these ideas. Let's deal in earrings, let's do scarves, let's do tie. And then you realize, once you're done there, you realize that, okay, all of these are basically part of the accessories, right? So these are all accessories. So that's how mind map really works. If you see clothes, then you've got, some other ideas in the clothes are, you've got tops, you've got bottoms, and you've got footwear. So these all belong to clothes, right? So when you were doing your when you were collecting requirements on what your company should deal in, your fashion company should deal in, and somebody said, oh, I really like boots, let's deal in boots. That's you draw a when you draw a mind map, you'd realize, okay, from fashion, boots come under footwear, right? So this is how a mind map basically works. It helps you group ideas. Once you're done grouping the ideas, when you're done with your requirements collection, you may realize, all right, as a fashion company, these are the kind of requirements that I have. These are the things that I can do. All right, my focus will actually be just on the accessories. So my company will be dealing only with accessories. We are not dealing with clothes at all. We are not dealing with footwear. We are not dealing with bottoms or tops or anything. We will only be dealing with whatever that comes under the accessories head, right? So that is how mind maps are useful in grouping several different ideas. And again, this is something that you can follow on your projects to keep the requirements right, not go haywire, and have a connection between all these requirements so that they can be grouped together. And as a group, you can take a decision on which group of requirements can be moved forward with. So this is an example of, like I mentioned, the group creativity techniques. This is all about mind maps. So that is all that we had in this video. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Check us out on our social media, facebook.com/PMP Lounge and twitter.com/PMP Lounge. And do check out the website pmplounge.com, your number one free resource for PMP certification and project management industry information. Thank you.